Imagine spending years preparing for the greatest expedition of your life. Crossing one of the harshest environments on Earth. Battling temperatures below -40 degrees Fahrenheit. Only to achieve your dream. And realize someone had beaten you there by just a few weeks. Now imagine having to make the journey back. Exhausted, freezing, running out of food, knowing that every step could be your last. This is the heartbreaking story of Captain Robert Falcon Scott, a man whose quest for glory became one of history's greatest survival tragedies. And what happened in Antarctica still sparks debate more than a century later. The early 1900s were known as the heroic age of Antarctic exploration. The North Pole had captured the world's imagination. Now all eyes turned south. The ultimate prize. The South Pole. For Britain, reaching it first wasn't just about exploration. It was about national pride. Captain Robert Falcon Scott, a Royal Navy officer and experienced explorer, was chosen to lead the Terra Nova Expedition in 1910. His mission was ambitious. Reach the South Pole. Conduct groundbreaking scientific research. And return home as heroes. But there was one problem. They weren't the only team racing toward history. Far away, a Norwegian explorer named Roald Amundsen had quietly entered the race. And he had a very different strategy. Think about it, planning an Antarctic expedition over 100 years ago was basically the world's toughest group project. Except failure didn't mean a bad grade. It meant you might never come home. As Scott's team pushed deeper into Antarctica, they had no idea they were already falling behind. Scott's expedition faced unimaginable challenges. Blizzards, hidden crevasses, bone-chilling winds, heavy sledges loaded with supplies. Unlike Amundsen, who relied heavily on skilled dog teams and lighter travel methods, Scott's expedition combined motor sledges, ponies, dogs, and, ultimately, human hauling. Unfortunately, the motor sledges failed early. Many ponies couldn't survive the extreme cold. That left the men pulling hundreds of pounds of equipment themselves. Every mile demanded extraordinary determination. Every day drained their strength. Yet they refused to turn back. Finally, on January 17, 1912, Scott and 4 companions reached the South Pole. But instead of triumph, they found a black flag and a tent. Amundsen had arrived more than a month earlier. Scott wrote in his diary, "Great God, this is an awful place." The dream was gone. But the worst was still ahead. Reaching the South Pole wasn't the end of the journey. It was only halfway. And the return would become one of history's greatest survival struggles.
The return journey quickly turned into a nightmare. Temperatures dropped even lower. Food supplies dwindled. Fuel containers lost precious kerosene through evaporation and leakage, leaving less fuel than expected for melting snow into drinking water. Then tragedy struck. One team member, Edgar Evans, suffered severe injuries after repeated falls and died during the return. Another explorer, Lawrence Oates, was suffering from severe frostbite. Barely able to walk, he realized he was slowing everyone down. One freezing morning, Oates quietly stepped outside the tent. His final words became legendary. "I am just going outside and maybe some time." He willingly sacrificed himself, hoping his friends might survive. But Antarctica showed no mercy. Ask yourself this: would you have the courage to keep walking, knowing every step might be your last? It's almost impossible to imagine. Scott and the remaining 2 men struggled onward. A supply depot was less than 12 miles away. Close enough to imagine, too far to reach. A relentless blizzard trapped them inside their tent. For days, they waited. The storm never stopped. Eventually, the cold, hunger, and exhaustion claimed them all. When rescuers found the tent months later, Scott's diary was still there, preserved by the Antarctic ice. His final entries revealed not despair, but extraordinary courage. For decades, historians debated Scott's decisions. Did he choose the wrong transportation methods? Did poor planning seal the expedition's fate? Or were they simply victims of extraordinarily harsh weather? Today, many experts believe the tragedy resulted from a combination of factors: extreme Antarctic conditions, logistical challenges, equipment failures, unexpected weather, and difficult leadership decisions. But regardless of the mistakes, Scott's expedition also achieved remarkable scientific success. The team collected valuable geological and biological samples, even carrying some during their final march. Their commitment to discovery never faded. Think about this. Is success defined only by reaching your goal? Or also by the courage you show when everything falls apart? Captain Scott never returned home. He never celebrated victory. But his story became something greater than triumph. It became a reminder that courage isn't measured by winning. Sometimes, it's measured by refusing to give up, even when the odds are impossible. More than a century later, the frozen silence of Antarctica still echoes with the legacy of those 5 men. And speaking of disasters that changed history forever, there's another story you won't want to miss. Click the video on your screen now to watch why the Titanic really sank, the world's most famous ship. One iceberg, and a chain of decisions that turned confidence into catastrophe. Trust me, that story is just as unforgettable.